Behind, in your perspective, is Pakistan from the lower end market in the, for example, in the States?
Yeah.
How much difference is there? Do you think it's a very big void? I mean, can you give us some kind of an idea?
No, I mean, here's what's interesting. Universally, poor people, let's just call it poor people broadly, the similarities are very strong across the world. Low-income people in the U.S. are also unbanked. They don't have bank accounts.
Right.
They have cell phones, just like poor people here in Pakistan have cell phones. Poor people in Kenya have cell phones. Poor people in India have cell phones. Poor people in Ecuador have cell phones. But poor people across the universe, across the world, are unbanked. That's a commonality. So from a research perspective, like insights, a lot of these findings, yes, they're very specific to the Pakistan market because that's where we did the research. And this design is appropriate for the Pakistan market. Our colleague Gabe, who worked on this with us, he's doing essentially the exact same project, but for Telenor in Myanmar, Wave Money. It's a brand new mobile financial service company. His design is not that dissimilar from our design. They look very different, but a lot of the same rationale becomes relevant because, again, like there are similarities in just human behavior. The difference in Myanmar is that they never had feature phones because it was a closed country. They completely leapfrogged, so they never had USSD. So they don't have this trouble of how do we move people away from USSD and into smart. They're all just adopting smartphones right off the bat and using smartphone apps. So that's like a benefit. But compared to the U.S., there's a lot of similarities, and to Europe and to Africa. But even,
for example, adoption. I've read studies where there's evidence that adoption in for example, Africa and parts of Asia is much higher than it is in the U.S.
Yeah. So part of that is our regulations are way more strict. Yeah. So mobile money, we don't have mobile money the way you have mobile money.
Right.
So it can't exist in the U.S. because of our regulation. Creating innovation for the U.S. It's creating innovation for other countries. So regulation is a huge problem in the U.S. Yeah. We have digital financial services, but it's not mobile money like you all have. What makes Pakistan a little bit more unique than other markets is your reliance and breadth of OTC. So that creates a unique market, a unique ecosystem, which brings some unique challenges as you all are trying to scale your mobile financial services. Because the reliance on OTC is quite strong here, much stronger here than in other markets.
Yeah. We definitely had a number of participants who said, hey, this app is really great, but you know what? It takes me a minute to walk to my agent, so I'm happy with that. Also, I would just another observation from our prototyping research, I went into that thinking that these prototypes are going to fail. These are actually going to be too complicated. But that was not the case. People, by and large, got through them. The challenge was making them comfortable enough to just try. It took a lot, and Ali was leading those research sessions, just getting these mostly women confident enough to just give it a go. Yeah. Once they were in there, it was pretty smooth sailing.
Yeah, there actually wasn't a huge difference between what we call like a super user. So I think of one woman in particular, she used mobile money at the time, she was in the app, she was clicking through really quickly, no big deal, very confident. There wasn't a huge difference between her once she was in the app and our like newer non-users once they started clicking. But it was that initial like getting them to click through and try things. Once they started, very fluent, very fluid, little challenge. But it's that like first time confidence build, trust, that prevents a lot of people, especially women, from participating, for sure. But that's universal. That's not just Pakistan. So there's a lot of similarities, absolutely.